Now begins the recitation of the Aletheon, the divine avataric self-revelation of His divine presence, Avatar Adi Da Samraj. This is I stand free apart, and not in the middle here, squared. One. I am the Parama Saptana Sannyasin. There are no ego patterns in me. There is no intrinsic content in me. If I demonstrate modes of apparent responsiveness in relationship to that with which I am brought into conjunction, those modes of apparent responsiveness come about because of the conjunction, not because of any ego patterning or intrinsic content in me, divinely avatarically born to here in bodily human divine form. Thus, even though this divine avataric body form here can show various signs in conjunction with apparent others and things, I, myself, have no ego patterning or intrinsic content. Therefore, I do not have the karmic energy or the egoic self-capability to generate and maintain my own bodily existence here. There is no energy of ego patterning that can sustain this divine avataric body form. The sustaining of this divine avataric body form can only come about through devotion to me, through the provision of my devotees. As the Parama Saptana Sannyasin, I am demonstrating the ultimate manifestation of the seventh stage of life. As the Parama Saptana Sannyasin, I have no ego patterning or conditionally patterned self-identity whatsoever. None. Therefore, if you are my devotee, rightly understand and fully accept my revelation demonstration of Parama Saptana Sannyas. If you are my devotee, accept me on sight. Only my devotees can give me the circumstance that belongs to my Parama Saptana state. I am as I am. Sighting of me is how it works, and that is that. 2. For many years, I served my devotees and all beings by means of the unique process of my divine avataric self-submission work. Now, there is nothing any longer to be served by such submission of mine. There is no more teaching, no greater revelation to come from such submission of mine. Therefore, now and forever hereafter, my only demonstration is Parama Saptana Sannyas. I myself, as I am, exist and bodily self-abide in my hermitage. I am not available anywhere else, and I am not available to anyone at all on any basis other than right, ego-transcending devotion to me, bodily incarnate here, as I am. Now and forever hereafter, my devotees, must practice the reality way I have revealed and given on the basis of my divine avataric self-emergence here. As the divine avataric Parama Saptana Sannyasin, I have nothing directly or actively to do with the divine avataric holy institution of Adidam Ruchiradam or its work or responsibilities. The right functioning of the divine avataric holy institution of Adidam Ruchiradam is entirely the responsibility of my devotees. Now and forever hereafter, I myself am set apart. In my state of Parama Saptana Sannyas, right relationship to me must be unequivocally required and expected of all. I made my divine avataric self-submission on the basis of my impulse to bless and liberate all and all. However, my conclusive observation relative to all my years of divine avataric self-submission is that my blessing and liberation of beings cannot be accomplished by means of my self-submission. Therefore, my self-submission need no longer be done by me. Now, I am free of the impulse to submit myself. It was absolutely necessary for me to make my offering of self-submission. It was absolutely necessary that I do everything in order to see if my blessing and liberation of beings were possible by means of self-submission. I have demonstrated with absolute conclusiveness that such is not possible. Therefore, there is no purpose in any continuation of my self-submission. Consequently, I am standing apart from the world, living in complete freedom in my hermitage. I do no institutional work of any kind. I do no public work of any kind. Fundamentally, I live in the traditional manner, as realizers in all the time of the ancient walkabout way have lived in their chosen places of retreat from the world of egoity. I am the Parama Saptana Sannyasin, utterly free. That is it. I did my self-submission work, and this is how I now am, as I am. I do not engage in any interactions with people on a social basis or an organizational basis. I do not participate in mere ceremonialism. I do not actively participate in any kind of worldly exchanges at any time with anyone. I am simply present here as I am. If people will devotionally respond to me and relate to me rightly, they can be invited to enter into my divine avataric company for blessing. Blessing is simply my nature, my state, my intrinsic condition of self-radiance. Therefore, I do not have to engage in any kind of institutional ceremonialism in order to bless. If people will approach me rightly and searchlessly be in my divine avataric company, they will naturally, spontaneously, and inevitably benefit from my self-radiant company because of the ego-transcending authenticity of their receptive devotional resort to me. The simple sighting of me is what is effective in the case of all whose ego-transcending devotional recognition response to me is real and true. It is up to those who are invited into my company to be fully turned to me and to make use of the blessed opportunity to be in my divine avataric company. My instructions relative to all of this have been fully and plainly given and fully and plainly written by me. Therefore, my divine avataric word must be studied, understood, and followed without any intervening interpretation. My divine avataric self-revelation is complete, full, and fully stated. I simply live in my hermitage, essentially solitary, not identified with the body or the mind, not egoically present here, but rather only egolessly, transcendentally spiritually, and divinely present. My standing apart is transcendentally, spiritually necessary and right, and it must be done. Therefore, it is now and forever hereafter done by me. Now and forever hereafter, I stand free, apart, and not in the middle here. Here ends the recitation of the heart word of Master Da Levananda.